Well, hey guys, what's up? It's your boy AR Legends, and today I shall be uploading the next part of What If Naruto Was Disowned by His Family. So, without any further ado, let us start our video. But before starting this video, I would like to make a request to all of you guys who are watching this video to come on, guys, please subscribe to my channel. I have crossed 6,000 subscribers and I want to reach 10k as quick as possible, and it would be a favor to me if you guys subscribe to my channel. So, without any further ado, let us start our video. And yeah guys, I have put the link of my Instagram as well as a YouTube channel link of my friend within the description below. So follow as well as subscribe to that channel as well. He's a Instagram friend of mine and he wants me to promote his channel. So it would be a favor to me if you guys just subscribe to his channel as well. So without any further ado, let us start our video. Last time we left off as we saw that Naruto obtained 50% of the chakra of the nine tails, while the remaining 25% goes to his siblings, as Minato along with Kushina heard that Naruto has so much chakra as well as the soul, 100% soul of the nine tails. So it could have a bad reaction near to Menma and Mito, as well as the village wanted someone to hate or to put the blame. So they had to protect their other two children by sacrificing Naruto, though it hurt Minato a lot as well as Kushina, but they had to do it. As well as after that, Naruto, you can say, was adopted by one of the root agents who in the end tried to kill Naruto, but Naruto was able to activate his Mangekyo Sharingan. In the end, he was able to kill his so-called adopted father, and then he was able to control the QB and get all the answers from QB that he is the son of Minato Namikaze, the fourth Hokage, and he has a whole family, but they disowned him because they wanted to protect those two other little brats, which really angered Naruto a lot. His own father, his mother abandoned him for the other two children, as Naruto was angry beyond any limits. Now, let us start our video from here on. As Naruto looked towards QB and said, "Hey QB, from this day on, you are going to be my pet," as Naruto has already put Kurama within the Genjutsu, as he said, "And now I shall use your power to surpass everyone. I want you to train me. Tell me everything, every jutsu you have seen through the generation, everything you know about chakra. I want you to train me," as Kurama nodded and then said, "Well, I have seen a lot of jutsus and I know a lot about chakra and how one can control it and how one can get strong by using chakra my own, and I can share my chakra with you. That's how you will not get the QV cloak, but instead you can get a power far different than any Jinchuriki," as Naruto smirked at that, as Naruto said, "Alright, let's begin." Now we have a time skip. In this time, Naruto was spying on Minato's family. Time, you can say, a flashback. As Naruto saw that how Menma and Mito were being trained by both Kushina and Minato, all of them had a smile on their faces as Kushina said, "Well Mito, Menma, you are going to be strong shinobis and then one day you will protect this village," as Menma smirked, "Yeah, I will become Hokage of this village just like that, as and protect everyone." As Kushina said, "Yeah, you should protect them because village is family and we are Uzumakis, we always stick with family," as Naruto simply scoffed at that, as unknowingly Kushina had a chill going through her vein, her back, but she simply shrugged it off, as Naruto always liked to watch them for some reason, as he also saw Minato teaching both Menma and Mito the Rasengan, as well as Kushina teaching Mito the chakra chains. Menma did not have them, as Naruto saw everything, as you can say, as he put a crow there, which had a Sharingan in his eye, just like Itachi, so he also started to do it, as well as he saw that there are many Uchihas in the whole, but there was already Uchiha massacred, but he had already seen Itachi and how strong he actually was, so he started to do research on Uchihas as well as the whole Minato or fourth Hokage family, as Naruto do not like that family. Now Naruto, you can say, in the academy, he has seen Menma and Mito, as both of them are quite arrogant, if Naruto is quite honest with himself, as he saw that how his so-called siblings thinks that they are so special and everyone and everything is just below them, as Naruto did not give them any minds whatsoever, as because there was no third Hokage, so there was no law about QB, so most of the people in the village already knew that Naruto was the Jinchuriki, as well as Menma and Mito, as they were known that this kid has the nine tails inside of him, so they did not care about Naruto whatsoever, as Naruto just simply ignored all of them. He has a burning hatred for this village and he is here only for few reasons, and one day he shall leave this village and destroy it. And you can say, who knows, he might even conquer it, but it is really up to him. So, let us start our video as it is about time for the graduation exam as Menma and Mito finally step in as everyone, all the fangirls were just over Menma as well as all the boys in the academy like Mito. But Mito only likes, Sasuke-kun. But Sasuke is just, Sasuke, emo brat. As Sakura as well as Mito has a rivalry for Sasuke, but Sasuke do not care much for each of them. So he just simply ignore all of them as Naruto finally arrives as all the academy students were looking towards him as then the murmurs started to begin, but Naruto just simply ignored all of them and then took a seat back as Menma just simply ignored him, not wanting to do anything with the demon of the village. As Mito also just simply shrugged off and Naruto took a seat and then finally Iruka arrived. Alright team, it's about time. Today is going to be the final lessons, or you can say the final exams. And after this day, all of you are going to become a shinobi of this village, as everyone was really happy. And then Iruka started the exam. And first it was the written part, and then now Iruka said, "Alright, guys, now it is about time." As he started to take the exam, as everyone passes and said, "Alright, Menma Namikaze." As Menma arrived and said, "Alright, it's about time to show everyone how great I am." As all the clan heads as well as Minato, Kushina, all were there wanting to see that what the next generation look like, as well as it is a class consists of mostly of the clan heads. And then Menma arrived as Kushina started to cheer for Menma as well as Tsunade. "Yeah, Menma, you can do it." As Menma arrived and said, Iruka said, "Alright, Menma, throw these kunais." As Menma was able to throw all of them as he got 9 out of 10. As Iruka said, "Well done, Menma. Now make some clones." As Menma smirked as he made 5 shadow clones, as everyone was really surprised as Mito did the same thing as well as the transformation, transforming into Jiraiya, Tsunade, Kushina and Minato. As everyone was really impressed, and then it was Sasuke Uchiha who was able to make 5 normal clones, not the shadow clones, as well as was able to perform his fireball jutsu, impressing many people there. So he also got quite good marks as Menma as well as Sasuke has a rivalry between them. And then Iruka said, "Alright, next is Naruto." As there was a dead silence in the whole class, even the clan heads started to look towards each other as his name was written Naruto Uzumaki. As Naruto arrived, as Naruto did not care, it was just a normal name. It was not like Naruto was related to Kushina Uzumaki, as Minato as well as Kushina had a sad expression on their faces as all the class had a dead silence as Iruka said, "Alright, okay Naruto, perform here the kunais, throw them and you will get the marks." As Naruto got the kunais and then looked towards them and then he smirked as he pointed some wind chakra in them and threw all the kunais, and in a flash all of them were stuck, or you can say even pierced through the dummy as everyone was in utter shock, even Tsunade. As Kushina narrowed, you can say Jiraiya narrowed his eyes and said, "Wait a minute, that kid put wind chakra in it." As Minato's eyes widened, it seems that he has been training, huh? As he has wind affinity. As as then Jiraiya nodded, already knowing who Naruto actually is. As then Hiroka said, "Alright, Naruto, make some clones." As Naruto nodded, as he had made a single, or you can say half hand sign, as everyone was looking towards him strangely, not knowing what type of hand sign it is, and then suddenly 10 shadow clones pop out of nowhere. As everyone's eyes widened, as Menma said, "What? He made shadow clones? And more than me?" As he was really surprised. He thought that this demon was nothing special because Naruto never talked to anyone. As then Ruka said, "Well done, Naruto. Now do the transformation jutsu." As Naruto did it, and then Ruka said, "Alright, Naruto, the final substitution jutsu. I will throw these kunais and you have to substitute." As Naruto nodded, as Ruka threw the kunai, as then, to everyone's surprise, kunai was sticking in the stomach of Naruto. As Ruka stood up, "Naruto, are you okay?" As he started to walk towards him, and then suddenly Naruto just burst into several crows and then started to move around. As Sasuke's eyes widened, it was just like Itachi's. Even Minato didn't knew. As Minato's eyes widened, already knowing the full capabilities of Itachi Uchiha, as then all the crows gathered around, as Iruka was in utter shock. This kid was studying in his class all of this time, but he thought that he was just a normal student or nothing more than that, hating Naruto just like normal because there was no third Hokage for talking Iruka out of the hatred for Naruto. If you guys don't know, there was a point when Iruka even tried to kill Naruto. So it was the third Hokage's word which actually changed Iruka in time. So Remember that as well. So in this time there was no Hokage, so Iruka still hates Naruto and his guts. As then Iruka said, "Damn it. Okay, well done, Naruto. Here's your headband. You passed." As Naruto took the headband and then started to walk away. As Iruka said, "Alright, guys, I have got all the results." It seems that as he looked around, as he said, well, it seemed that Uzumaki Naruto is the rookie of the year. As everyone eyes widened, as Menma stood up, "What, Iruka sensei? It cannot be. It should be me. I have done excellent in all of this time." As Iruka sighs and said, "Well, Menma, these are the results of the previous exams as well as this one, where I had the most power of the exams. For your information, you did not have that good of marks in the previous examination, especially in written part." As Menma said, "It does not matter. I'm a shinobi, not a teacher, you know." As Iruka sighs and said, "Well, Menma, that's how it is. Naruto got the rookie of the year, and you have been tied with Sasuke." As Menma gritted his teeth and said, "Alright, I challenge this kid for the title of the rookie of the year." As all the clan heads were watching, as Kushina and everyone was really surprised because they really thought that Menma would be the rookie of the year. But it doesn't matter as long as he passed. As then Iruka sighed and said, "Well, Naruto Uzumaki, do you accept the challenge?" And Naruto stood up and said, "Well, challenge accepted." As Iruka, as then Menma Smug, and all of them were watching this battle. Sasuke really did not care, but though he was a bit intrigued about this kid because he never knew that this so-called demon boy of the village who just liked to be remain outside of everything was this strong. As then Naruto arrived in the ring as well as Menma. As Menma said, "Alright, I have heard many things about you, though to be honest, I do not care if you're a demon or not." As everyone was listening, especially Canheads, as Kushina had a sad expression on her face as well as Minato because they told him that they told their children about that this kid is actually the Jinchuriki of the Nine Tails, not telling them that he's actually their brother. As then Naruto had a calm expression on his face. As then Menma said, "Well, it does not matter if you're a demon or not. There's no way that you're stronger than me. So just give up and give me the title, which I actually deserve." As Naruto finally speak up for the first time, "It does not matter if you're Hokage's son or not, because you can say when I'm done with you, you'll be nothing more than a shit that is remain on the ground." As Menma gritted his teeth and said, "Alright, I'll show you what a power of a true shinobi. And you're nothing more than a demon. I heard many things about you, that you're a demon and all, but it doesn't matter. You're going to lose here." As Naruto just simply had a blank expression on his face, as Iruka said, "Alright, begin." As Menma started to dash towards Naruto, as he said, "Alright, now give up." As he tried to punch Naruto on his face, but to everyone's surprise, Naruto easily dodged the attack like it was nothing. As then Naruto put his hand in his pocket, and then the next thing shook everyone as it was a book. As Jiraiya's eyes widened, as is, you can say, "That is my book." As Jiraiya said, with the, you can say, stars in his eyes. As Tsunade hit Jiraiya on the shoulder, "Shut up, Jiraiya, as this is a match." As Minato was confused, as Naruto started to read the book, as Menma gritted his teeth and then started to rush towards Naruto, trying to deliver a kick, but Naruto simply dodges the kick and then ducked down the attack. As all the, you can say this battle goes the same like Naruto versus Kakashi in the bell test, as Naruto was dodging each and every attack of Menma like it was nothing, as which really surprises everyone, as Jiraiya and Tsunade knew that Minato as well as themselves were giving tips to Menma and Mito so that they could be strong shinobi, and in time they should be able to control the power of the Nine Tails that is sealed inside of them. It is only the power, not the Nine Tails himself. As Naruto was dodging all the attacks like they were nothing, and in the end Menma gritted his teeth and said, "Alright, that is enough. Rasengan!" As he created a Rasengan, made a shadow clone and then created a Rasengan, as Minato was about to stop Menma because that was a great attack, but to his surprise, Naruto grabbed the wrist of Menma and then, you can say, kicked him on his legs, as Menma was, you can say, planted his attack on the ground along with his face or his whole body, as the whole area just, you can say, shook with boom, as Menma was sent flying, but he was able to catch himself, having a lot of bruise here and there. Naruto was still reading his book, which really frustrated Menma, and said, "You damn demon!" When Minato as well as Kushina heard that, they had a really guilt started to get into their hearts along with Jiraiya and Tsunade, as Kushina said, "Alright, Minato, I'm going to have a talk with Menma. As I saw that how Mito was also a bit angry as well as muttering something about demon kicking the ass of a demon as which really put both Minato as well as Kushina at shame. As then Menma stood up and said, "You asked for it." And then he started to rush towards Naruto, making several clones as Naruto closes his book and then looked towards Menma and said, "Well, you have been a really annoying brat, you know that?" As Naruto simply vanished from the eyes of everyone. Only the higher ranking, like Jonins and the clan heads, were able to follow Naruto in a sudden boom. As all the clones simply poof away, and the next thing they knew that Menma, as Naruto was grabbing Menma from his neck, lifting him from the ground, as Menma was simply gasping for air, as Naruto looked directly into the eyes of Menma and said, you called me a demon, didn't you? Well, you should know better that what a demon could actually do." As Naruto grabbed the face of Menma and then planted the whole, you can say, face into the ground, as everyone was in utter shock as Naruto grabbed his face again and then slammed it into the ground over and over again 2 or 3 times, and then Menma had a blood coming from his face as Naruto looked into his eyes and said, "Give up now." As Menma said, "Damn you, demon," as Naruto flipped Menma into the air and then kicked Menma so hard as he was slammed into the building wall, knocking him out. As then everyone was in utter shock. Even Sasuke was in utter shock. Even he could not defeat Menma. He has to admit that Menma is strong, trained by strong shinobis. As then Menma, as Naruto looked towards Iruka, "Do I win or not?" As Iruka said, "Yeah, you win." But and then he came into his senses as he narrowed his eyes towards Naruto. As Naruto simply started to walk away. As he got his hairband and went off. As then he was passing away and then he was grabbed by, you can say, Tsunade as he glared at him and said, "Hey you should know better to hurt. He's the Hokage's son, you know." As Naruto just simply looked towards her in a blank expression and said, "Well, if he, I do not care if he's the Hokage's son or not. Look here, lady." As Tsunade, as everyone was in utter shock how this kid was actually talking to Tsunade, one of the Sanin, who is known for her temper. As Naruto said, "Look here, it is the headband, and if he's so special and cannot be touched, then he should not become a shinobi in the first place, because we are shinobis. We will risk our lives, and he should stay at his home under the shadow of his father, the fourth," as he scoffed and then looked towards Minato, who had a strange expression on his face as Naruto simply passes away. As Minato had a feeling that Naruto knew, but it cannot be. Only the few people in the whole village knew. But the reaction which Naruto simply gave off simply tells Minato one thing that Naruto knows. But right now he has other things, as Tsunade was bubbling in pure anger. But he was right. She has to calm herself down as she started to heal Menma. As Menma, after some time, finally woke up, really angry that how he got humiliated by the hands of that demon. As he vowed and said, "I will train hard and then get that demon." As Mito said, "Yeah, we will get him. He will know his place." As then Kushina said, "Alright, that is enough, you guys. You cannot call someone demon like it." As Mito looked towards her, "But mom, he has the 9 tails inside of him, and 9 tails is a demon, right? So, which means that he's a demon." As Kushina said, "That is enough, I told you, didn't I?" As Mito shut her mouth, but she was still mumbling about something like demon, as Kushina had a sad expression, not caring about bleeding Menma and all, because he was already healed by the hands of Tsunade, as Naruto simply passes away. And then, now we have escaped, as Minato was sitting in his chair as Kushina was there. As Kushina said, "Minato, I was wondering if we did the right thing, you know." As Tsunade along with Jiraiya were also there. As Jiraiya speak up, "Well, Kushina, the thing which is done is done. We cannot change it anymore. Or it is not like we hate the kid, you know." As Kushina said, "Yeah, but didn't you see him? He has so much hate inside of him. It seems that the village has really did a number on him." As Minato sighs and said, "Well, what is done is done. Jiraiya sensei is right. But I have a plan. We can at least, I know that we cannot announce to the village that he's actually our son, because it will jeopardize the family as well as the clan name as well as the other two children's. So, but at least what I can do is put him in your team, Kushina." As Kushina's eyes widen, and in time you can make a, you can say, small relation with him like a sensei. As Kushina smiled and said, Do you really mean it?" as Minato smiled and said, well, this is at least what we can do to protect him from the other dangers. And in time, we will train him as well. As Kushina said, so we are not planning to tell him as anything, right? As Minato sighed and said, well, to be honest, I don't even know anything. So I cannot do it. But the things will go as planned, as all of them nodded. Now we have a time skip, as it is about time, as Iruka arrived. Alright teams, I have this report. Now it is about time for you guys to be in different teams, as everyone was really happy, and then all the teams were announced in the same manner. It is just like Sasuke, Sai, and Sakura, which angered Mito a bit, and then it came to the final team, as Iruka said, alright, the final team is going to be Menma, Namikaze, Mito, Namikaze, Uzumaki, and finally Naruto. As Menma glared at Naruto and stood up and said, Haruka sensei, it is not fair. Why should we be with the demon? And why? He should get the training just like us. As Haruka sighed and said, well, it is your father who placed this team, Menma. As Menma glared at Naruto and said, damn you demon, you must have done something. As Naruto just simply looked away. As then, it is about time, as after some time all the Jonin sensei arrived and took their teams, as even Kakashi arrived on time because Kushina was with him, as Kakashi took his team away, and then Kushina said, alright team, come with me, as everyone started to walk towards her, and then Naruto also started to walk towards her, thinking in his mind, damn that Minato, what is he trying to do, huh? Well, it doesn't matter if he's trying to change anything, because I will do what I want to, as he looked towards Kushina with a blank expression and said, so you have taken the charge of my team. What, do you want revenge that I beat your kid? As Kushina looked towards Naruto as he said, no, it is not like that, as Naruto was just simply playing. As he said, well, it doesn't matter, because there's no way you can put any hindrance against me. As he simply started to walk away, as Kushina sighed and said, well, okay, as Menma was simply glaring at Naruto, he still got remembered the beating which he took, and for some reason he could not stand to Naruto, so he simply, you can say, passed by. As now it is about time for the bell test, as Kushina arrived and said, okay team, it is about time, and it is going to be a test to see that if you guys are ready to be Ganins. As Menma smirked, I'm ready to be a Chunin, mom, you already know it. As Kushina smiled and said, well dear, in this test you have to pass, otherwise you are going back to academy. As Mito sighed and said, it is not fair mom. As she said, well, nothing is fair in Shinobi world. As Naruto just simply looked towards her with a blank expression, as Kushina said, well Naruto, do you understand it? As Naruto nodded, as then she said, alright, as she showed everyone two bells and said, alright team, you guys have to get it. As she showed everyone two bells, as Menma and Mito were confused, and then Menma smirked and said, so the demon is going back to the academy, huh? Well, expected from mom. As Kushina simply sighed and said, okay, here we go. As everyone, you can say Menma and Mito went off so that the demon could get his beating from his mom, thinking that his mom is here only to beat demons so that demon could understand not to lay a finger on them. As Menma and Mito went away into the forest, as Naruto was still standing there, as Kushina sighed and said, well Naruto, I don't know what Menma and Mito think, but you are my student from here on, and I'm not going to treat you any different from Menma and Mito. You are just like, you can say, my son. As Naruto simply scoffed and said, well, I don't have any family or any parents, so it doesn't matter. And even if you are here to just beat me up, you will not be able to do it. As then there was a poof, and then Naruto had two swords in his hands, as Kushina said, so you can use sword, huh? Thinking that Naruto will not be that strong. After all, there was no one to teach her. Thinking that, how, if Naruto was in their family, he would have been trained by her in the sword style, and she would have told him about many things about the sword. As a sad expression came to her face, and then she finally pulled out her own sword and said, well, I'm not going easy on you, you know. As Naruto just simply smirked as he vanishes from the eyes of Kushina, as Kushina's eyes widened as the sword was coming towards her neck, ready to dehead her, but she was able to block the attack by using her own sword. As she was in utter shock, the speed which Naruto moved was actually Jonin level, as Naruto was moving even faster and faster, as Kushina had to block more and more strikes. She could not even believe it, as then Naruto used the wind chakra and then she has to move back as she saw that how that strike almost cut off her sword as she made some distance as he was really surprised Naruto was this strong, but how? It could not be. As then Naruto once again dashes towards her, this time a bit lesser speed, as Kushina was able to see that, and then she was able to dash towards Naruto and then flip him. But to her surprise, as Naruto moved within the air, as he moved his body in a, you can say, a strange angle and then kicked Kushina into her face, sending her flying. As Kushina was really surprised as she flipped into the air and then landed gracefully and said, alright, it seems that I have to catch him. And then she started to use her chakra chains as all the chakra chains were coming towards him. As Naruto go through handstand at a rapid pace and then said, fast style, get fireball jutsu, as a big fireball started to rush towards her as Kushina eyes widened as he quickly distracted her chains because it was no point there as Naruto moved with incredible speed, and the next thing Kushina knew as a kunai was at her neck. As her eyes widened, she did not even sense the skill. But how? How is this even possible? As then Naruto said, give up. As Kushina then threw her sword down and said, okay, you win. As while on the other hand, Menma and Mito were in utter shock as Naruto got both of the belts as Kushina was on the ground and said, who? Well, for a moment, as she could feel the bloodlust that was just radiating from Naruto when he pulled the kunai at her neck. As Kushina thought, for a moment, I thought he would kill me. No, it cannot be. I was just one. No. As she simply shook those thoughts out of her head and said, as she was about to say something, but Naruto threw both of the belts towards Menma and Mito. As then, Naruto looked towards Kushina and said, that is more than enough for the teamwork. As by saying that he simply vanishes from the area as Menma and Mito arrive. Mom, are you okay? As Mito said, as Kushina stood up, well, I'm alright, Mito. As Menma said, what the hell, ma'am? Mom, you should have beat that demon. I thought you were here just to beat that demon. As Kushina said, Menma, I already told you to not call him a demon. As Menma and Mito could not understand why their mother was reacting like this. She never speaks in this manner. As Kushina sighed and said, well, I'm not here to do anything to him. And he was right. Even though you're the Hokage's son, but you have become a shinobi. And it does not matter if you are our children. This world is as dangerous to you as it is for others. Or even more dangerous because you're the Hokage's son. So you have to train hard and there is nothing against him. As Mito sighed and said, well mom, you're really behaving a bit strange. And how the hell he was able to beat you? That does not make any sense, as Kushina thought in her mind. Though she was not using her full power, but still she was using a Jonin level skill. So, how did Naruto was able to cut her off guard as she thought that she has to talk about it with Minato? As she went off, as she said, well, I have some things to discuss with your father, so go home. As both of them simply nodded or grunted and then went off. As Kushina arrived within the room, as all the Jonins were there, as Minato asked Kushina if her team passed, as Kushina nodded and said, well, my team was able to pass, as Minato smiled. And when all the Jonins went off, as Minato said, so, how did Menma and Mito did with Naruto? I hope that they will be able to do just fine in a teamwork. As Kushina sighed and then said, well, Minato, there is something strange about Naruto. He had Jonin level skills. As Minato eyes widened, even Jiraiya, who just arrived there and said, what? That kid has Jonin level skills. What are you talking about, Kushina? As Kushina started to explain that how fast he was actually moving and his skills with the sword, as well as he was able to put wind chakra, and then he was able to move so sweetly as she did not even saw him moving, and he was able to put a kunai to her neck even though she was not using her full power, and some other things which Naruto did, which really surprises Minato as well as Jiraiya. As Minato started to think and said, well, Kushina, I want to tell you something which I did not tell you before. As Kushina looked towards Minato, as Minato sighed and said, well, there was a time in Naruto's life when he was actually adopted. As Kushina's eyes widened along with Jiraiya and said, what, he was adopted? As Minato nodded and said, well, he was a former Ambu member, so I think that he was able to train him, but he died. So I don't know if that actually changed Naruto, but I think that he trained Naruto for some time, and after his death, Naruto must have pushed himself because of the villagers and all. So there is a possibility that he trained in that manner and became that strong. As Kushina shook her head and said, Minato, you did not told me that he was adopted by someone else. as Minato sighs and said, well, I thought it was better for him if he got a small family. But in the end, that Ambu also died after 3 years of adopting him. It seemed that some of the shinobi in this village did not like it. As Jiraiya grunted and said, well, Minato, you have been really being soft with the council. They are doing anything. Whatever the case is, if he has the QB or not, he's your son. You should have taken care of him. As Minato stood up, well, it was not my decision only. As Jiraiya grunted, as Kushina said, well, that is enough. Okay, I will try my best so that the children could get along, but we have to do a serious talk with Menma and Mito. They are really calling him a demon, and it really hurting me a lot, Minato. As she had some of the tears in her eyes, as Minato simply nodded and said, well, I will have a talk with Menma and Mito. I wonder how will they actually react when they know that they also have the QB powers inside of them, as Jiraiya thought. As they finally went off, while on the other hand, Naruto was in the training ground training as well as evolving his Mangekyo Sharingan even further, as well as developing more techniques with his Sharingan, making different plans that what he will do in time. Okay guys, here I will love this part. Hope you guys like it. Please like and subscribe for the next part. It is going to be 200 likes as well as 120 comments in the comment section, and if you guys have some ideas you can give me in the comment section. So peace.